When most people talk about tokenomics, they're thinking about inflation curves and staking yields. But Bittensor's Dynamic TAO? That's a whole different beast. What we're looking at here isn't a token model. It's a live, breathing economic experiment. A full-field theory for decentralized intelligence. And after 2 months of data, the numbers are doing something remarkable. They're lining up with the math like clockwork. Let's start with how subnet tokens move. The core pricing engine behind Dynamic TAO is based on geometric Brownian motion. This isn't crypto. It's the same stochastic equation used to model financial markets. You've got drift. That's utility, adoption, market buzz. You've got volatility, sentiment, news cycles, randomness. And then you multiply all that by the price itself, giving you a log normal curve. Sounds abstract, but when you look at real subnet charts, like Schutz gradients or Targon, those price lines trace exactly the kinds of trajectories you'd expect from Monte Carlo simulations. In fact, the devs did 1,000 of those simulations before launching DTAO, and we're watching those predictions come true on-chain. That's not normal, that's design. And the way incentives are structured, even better. If you're staking on a subnet, not root, but actually diving into the alpha layer, your APY scales linearly over time. But if you're passively staking on root, that curve's logarithmic. Early on, root looked juicy, 60% yields, but that's already tapering off into the mid-20s. Meanwhile, subnet stakers like those on 19.ai are raking in triple-digit returns. The takeaway? The longer you're active, the more you're rewarded, not for holding, for doing. Now let's talk about power. When DTAO launched, validator weight was controlled mostly by TAO stake, but with gamma set at 0.18, and that number steadily reducing, influence is shifting toward alpha. This isn't theory anymore. TAO's influence has dropped from 73% in February to under 66% today. Alpha tokens now dominate subnet governance. This is a planned transfer of power, executed not by politics, but by math. And the scarcity? That's hard-coded. Each subnet can only ever emit 21 million tokens. Every 4 years, emissions halve, just like Bitcoin. But here's the twist. The scarcity is local. That means each subnet has its own fixed economy, its own halving, and its own trajectory. If a subnet actually solves a real problem, say building decentralized search or a protein folding engine, that fixed supply can't be expanded. The only option is price appreciation. And we're already seeing it. Schutz, for example, holds over 284,000 TAO in reserves, trades at about TAO 0.38, and sits at the top of emissions. It's not hype, it's performance. On top of that, every single block injects liquidity directly into the TAO alpha pool. That means no sudden pumps and dumps, no massive spreads. Even the smallest subnets have decent market depth just weeks after launch. This kind of liquidity engineering is honestly unheard of in traditional crypto launches. It's baked in stability. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. The life cycle of a subnet plays out in 4 acts. Launch, discovery, growth, maturity. We've watched it happen live. Folding.ai is in Act 1, just launched, price sliding as emissions outpace demand. Gradients? Deep into Act 3, tight supply, growing price. Templar just made the crossover into growth mode and is up over 25% this week alone. These aren't just stories, they're systems playing out in real time. And the reserves over injected metric? That's the market health pulse. Right now it's sitting around 10.28%, solidly green. That means real users are adding more TAO to subnet pools than the protocol is injecting through emissions. That's demand, that's conviction, that's decentralized capital flowing where it's deserved. Let's ground this with some data. Top emissions, Schutz, gradients, Targon, together eating up over 1/3 of total emissions. Subnet token prices have doubled since February. Over 5.8% of all staked TAO has now migrated away from root and into subnets. Trading volume, over 14 million TAO and climbing. And the most important part, every one of these numbers matches the curves laid out in the white paper months ago. Not guesses, not back tests, forward projections, now confirmed by live data. We even saw the TAO needed to sustain prices metrics spike above 600 recently, a sign the market is recalibrating. Could mean a correction, could mean new inflows. But what's undeniable is that the system's internal gauges are flashing exactly when they should. And the root TAO chart? Down from just over 6 million to around 5.7 million. That's 350,000 TAO, nearly $80 million, reallocated toward activity, utility, and growth. This isn't, a bubble inflating. It's capital moving with purpose. So here's the big idea. Dynamic TAO replaces committees, VCs, and guesswork with price signals and math. If you're building something useful, your token goes up, emissions follow, miners join, work gets done. If not, you get diluted, attention shifts. It's economic Darwinism for decentralized intelligence. In just 2 months, we've watched this system bootstrap a decentralized AI economy that actually works. It routes capital efficiently, it rewards participation intelligently, and it governs itself. Not by people, but by parameters. And we're just getting started, so the next time someone asks, where's the real value in crypto AI? Show them the curves, show them the life cycles, show them the drift equation. Then ask, where else is the math already winning? Interpret the math, make your own decisions.